Welcome to APR Supply's Tech Tips for the Pros. Today we're going to be discussing troubleshooting of ECM motors. ECM motors come in two major varieties, the constant torque and the constant airflow motors. To troubleshoot the constant torque motor, we'll be using a digital multimeter. We'll be using the Fieldpiece SC680. To troubleshoot the variable speed or constant airflow motors really requires that you use the manufacturer's recommended troubleshooting tool for that motor. The constant torque motor, often referred to as the X13, is a multiple speed motor that will require the installer to select a speed or torque rating to adjust airflow. The constant airflow motor, referred to as a variable speed motor, will use either dip switches or a communicating thermostat to select not a speed but a desired airflow in CFM. Because there are two different types of motors, there are two different troubleshooting methods. You will have to be able to identify the type of motor. Also keep in mind that unlike PSC motors that have been the industry standard, both of these ECM motors are powered constantly. In the furnace, the motor uses a 120 volt power supply at all times. You will notice that both motors have one plug that provides the 120 volt line voltage. Another separate plug or set of wire terminals will be the control wires coming into the motor. We will start with the X13 constant torque motor. The constant torque motor is very easy to troubleshoot. First, you will have to confirm that the high voltage 120 volts is being supplied to the motor. You'll have to follow the wiring diagram to locate the high voltage to the motor. Then, using your multimeter set to AC volts, test between L and N to see if 120 volts is present. If there is 120 volts present, you can continue to troubleshoot the motor. If 120 volts is not present, follow the wiring to determine why the power is not reaching the motor. On the X13 motor, the second plug has up to 5 speed connections. You will have to test for 24 volts from one or more of these wires to the C wire, which is on the high voltage plug. The motor will require both the high voltage as well as a control voltage coming to at least one of the low voltage motor terminals. Each of the control voltage terminals give the motor a command for a specific speed. If more than one terminal is being powered at the same time, the motor will default to the highest speed selected. If you have confirmed that both high voltage and low voltage are being supplied to the motor and the motor is not running, the motor has failed. The constant torque X13 style motor is a one-piece motor and will have to be replaced. This is the module from the Gentech 3.0 variable speed or constant airflow ECM motor. To test the constant airflow motor, it's best to use the manufacturer's recommended tester. This is the Tech Inspect made by Gentech, the motor manufacturer. For this model, the 3.0 motor, we will use the 4-pin connector and plug right in. The other end of this tester will connect to the 24 volt power supply of the furnace. Just connect one lead to red, one to common, and then it becomes a go, no-go tester. When you turn it on, the motor should come on and run. That tells you that the motor is good if it runs. If it doesn't, the motor itself is bad. Thank you for watching APR's Tech Tips for the Pros. Hope to see you again soon.